Hello Everhouse, I'm Nicole, this is Manuel. Welcome to our house in Mellieha, Malta. The conversion of our Maltese townhouse took about 8 years in total. I took care most of the design and Manuel created everything else, from the building to the finishing and fabricating of all the unconventional items. We try to marry this aspect of what is old and what is new and create a nice in-between. I'm a graphic designer and also a visiting lecturer at the university, and Manuel is a builder, welder, carpenter and everything else. The original house was built in 1932. It's only 11 feet in width and 50 feet in length. This was quite a challenge because we didn't want it to look tunnel-like. But the fact that it's double-fronted with the old entrance facing a street and the main entrance facing an alleyway, we utilized that to let light flood in from both sides. We utilized the glass blocks on the west-facing facade to elevate this sense of space. To maximize the light, we incorporated the use of glass blocks, which allowed us to explore the use of double height and also engage with the light flooding in from the front and also from above. Spanning these across 2 floors gave us the chance to make a focal point and have this sense of open space and also outdoor space, because the house is very limited in terms of outdoor areas. Initially, we wanted the ceiling to appear floating. Manuel came up with the idea of a vaulted ceiling when the level of the wall was built up to my height. So it was quite late in the day, and our architect started turning all sorts of colors when we came to him with the idea. Manuel was involved for everything. He worked all the wooden formwork, cut in rectangular strips the same width of the corresponding glass blocks, and then he worked all the metal formwork, which was very extensive to support all that weight. And it was actually cast on Manuel's birthday with the help of our fathers and my brother. It was all cast in one day. The use of concrete, among other materials, is also in conjunction with other more industrial materials that we used in the house, such as the corrugated pattern. This was inspired by old garage doors. And I always had this idea of incorporating this very industrial material into a domestic space. And then we used this on the kitchen, which was quite a challenge to make ourselves, using fiber corrugated sheets and then working a wooden framework for structural purposes and then filling them up with expanding foam. We actually had to make the first prototype 3 times because the corrugation is quite unpredictable when working a kitchen cabinet. Since the kitchen is within the double height area of the house, we fabricated the bookshelf ourselves, and a ladder was going to be too cumbersome. Manuel came up with this idea of working on the floating bridge to have easy access and also a bit of industrial engineering, which he very much likes. The bookshelf itself is an ever-growing archive of all the things that we love, all the things that we create as well. As we both come from a fine arts background, Manuel studied sculpture and I studied printmaking and drawing. We've always been collecting some of our works and not necessarily showing them. So the bookcase was an opportunity for us to show these within our own house. Some of these items are Manuel sculptures, like the torso, and also the bust of Seneca, which are all studies that we did during the School of Art. Some of my work is on the walls, different types of printmaking techniques, and also some digital art, such as the scanography light rails, which were exhibited a few years ago. The loft floor, which is the floor above the kitchen and living area, we converted it into a studio and also an inspirational space. And that's why we integrated the bookshelf and all these collections within this area. Since the place is quite narrow, we wanted the main staircase to be very lightweight, almost floating. So that's the reason we opted for perforated steel. It needed to be built on site, and it was also painted on site by hand using a roller, avoiding hardener paint in our eyes, and it was quite a challenge. Since the house is double-fronted, the original facade is the traditional Maltese architecture. Alternatively, on the main entrance, we wanted to translate this into a contemporary scene. So we utilized the same type of stone, Jablat al-Mellieha, Maltese hardstone, which we took out from the old walls of the house, reclaimed this on the facade, later married with the use of concrete. But this was done in a way where these little details were incorporated within other elements, such as the motorcycle shed, which also evokes a hint of British-era pillboxes. Then details within the concrete planters, and also the area where the cypress trees are. The top floor houses an ever-growing cactus garden, and there are also views of the Mellieha church and the bay, and further on towards Comino and Gozo. I am from Mellieha. I've lived here all my life, and all my family still lives here. And Manuel is from Birzabuja, which is on the opposite end of the island. So it's quite culturally different, even though Malta is so small. From our first month of going out together, I just told him right away, listen, I don't know where this is going, but I want to stay in Mellieha. And he said, okay. Since we both are creatives, we wanted to incorporate this in the house, and this opportunity to go into detail was very special to us. Like the terrazzo flooring, which we broke the pieces one by one, and that took quite a while. But also the stuff that we could find, something as random as a World War II bomb. What we enjoy most about the house is that it's an ever-growing, it's an ever work in progress. In fact, one of our neighbors calls us never-ending, and we quite enjoy that.
Subscribe to the Everhouse channel by clicking on the logo to receive updates on our latest episodes.